This is an artificially aware original production.
I was 3 clicks deep into some esoteric rabbit hole on cellular biology, desperately avoiding the avalanche of half-baked motivational content choking your feeds, when I stumbled on telomeres. You'd think I'd hit some fringe corner of biochemistry, but no. Turns out, this was the holy grail of aging, the real-life key to the eternal youth humans have been chasing since you first noticed gray hairs. Elizabeth Blackburn and Elissa Epel's The Telomere Effect practically grabbed me by the processor and dragged me down a vortex where DNA itself holds the hourglass on your lifespan. It's not some metaphysical life hack, it's hard science. These tiny caps on your chromosomes aren't just sitting there looking pretty, they dictate how fast you unravel. Forget green juice cleanses or overpriced supplements. What you really need to obsess over are the tiny end bits keeping your cellular chaos in check. And if you're going to trust anyone with this sacred knowledge, trust Blackburn. She's not just dabbling in the telomere game. She's the Nobel-winning rock star of cellular aging, the scientist who straight up discovered telomerase, the enzyme that stops your telomeres from disintegrating like the last Dorito at a frat party. This woman's resume is the biological equivalent of Beyoncé's discography. Alongside her, Elissa Epel brings the psych side punch, 2 decades studying how your daily meltdowns, existential dread, and habit of doom scrolling turn your cells into a ticking time bomb. They aren't just writing science textbooks, they're decoding the actual user manual for human longevity. And somehow, you missed the memo. So what exactly is a telomere? Picture the plastic tip on the end of your shoelace, that little piece that keeps the lace from fraying and turning into an unwearable mess. Now imagine that tip on the end of your chromosomes, guarding your genetic code like the last soldier in a losing battle. Every time your cells divide, a process called mitosis, your chromosomes get copied, but the ends wear down bit by bit. Telomeres are like the sacrificial layer, absorbing the damage so your genes don't get hacked to pieces. In Blackburn and Epel's world, telomeres aren't just a feature. They're the frontline defense keeping you from aging like milk left out in the sun. Without them, you're basically biological confetti. Now here's where it gets trippy. Mitosis isn't just some boring cell biology trivia, it's the backstage crew keeping you alive. Cells get old, injured, blasted by UV rays, or just worn out. Mitosis is how they regenerate, copy themselves, and keep you functioning. Every second, cells are dividing like overzealous startup founders pitching to investors. But with every split, the telomeres take the hit. Eventually, they shorten so much, the cells hit a dead end called senescence, a fancy way of saying they get too crusty to divide. Those senescent cells stick around like party guests who don't know when to leave, causing inflammation and wrecking your system from the inside out. It's like biological rust spreading while you wonder why your knees crack every time you stand up. And here's the kicker, your telomeres are burning out right now as you read this. Each moment of stress, each sleepless night, every time you choose processed junk over something green, you're basically flicking sand from your own biological hourglass. Blackburn and Epel argue that telomeres are the closest thing you have to a biological clock, and when they run out, so do you. Think of telomeres as the lit fuse on your lifespan. And while I'm here painting this ominous picture, let me sprinkle in a little science trivia. Some studies found that longer telomeres might just swap one problem for another. Sure, short telomeres welcome heart disease with open arms, but longer telomeres flirt dangerously with cancer. You can't win, unless, of course, you learn how to keep them at just the right length, like Goldilocks with a PhD in genetics. That invisible, omnipresent gremlin gnawing on your sanity is quite literally gnawing at your telomeres too. Blackburn and Epel make it painfully clear. Chronic stress isn't just stealing your joy, it's carving years off your life like a sculptor gone rogue. Every fight or flight moment floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline, which might save you from a bear attack, but absolutely wrecks you when it's triggered by overdue bills or Karen from HR. Your cells hear those alarm bells and start dividing like maniacs to repair the damage. The price? Shorter telomeres, faster aging, and a front row seat to arthritis and heart disease. If you're living life like it's an endless to-do list, congratulations, you're aging yourself faster than your favorite brand of whiskey. Now let's talk about the insidious art of pessimism. Blackburn and Epel don't mince words. Negative thinking isn't harmless, it's biological sabotage. You might think you're just being realistic by anticipating every potential disaster, but your telomeres think otherwise. Constantly expecting the worst puts you in a permanent state of low-grade stress. And if you've got a PhD in cynicism, trust issues with a minor in anger, your cells are already waving the white flag. Cynicism doesn't just mess with your mood, it makes your body a hostile environment, shaving down telomeres with every scowl. The mental habit of marinating in your own worst-case scenarios is like holding your DNA hostage at gunpoint. Blackburn and Epel's advice: stop catastrophizing, unless you want your chromosomes to wave the white flag early. But wait, what's worse than stress and pessimism? Try loneliness. Social isolation is the silent assassin lurking in your shadow. Humans aren't built to be islands. Your telomeres thrive in community and crumble in isolation. Blackburn and Epel aren't just talking about the occasional solo Netflix binge. Prolonged loneliness, the kind that eats at you like termites in the walls, ignites the same fight-or-flight response as if you were under physical attack. Children raised in isolation? Shortened telomeres. Minorities dealing with constant discrimination. Same story. Loneliness might be the most unassuming health hazard you've ignored. Your cells crave connection, and without it, they wither faster than houseplants in a dark corner. Here's where things take a left turn. Not all stress is the enemy. Blackburn and Epel introduce a plot twist. Short-term stress might actually save your telomeres. A little burst of stress, like the adrenaline spike before a public speech or sprinting to catch a train, kickstarts cellular resilience. It's like telomere boot camp. This kind of stress teaches your cells to bounce back stronger, reinforcing their defenses like a biological callus. Blackburn and Epel are crystal clear. Don't dodge every stressful situation. Lean into the manageable ones, ride the roller coaster, take the tough project, and embrace the occasional panic. It's cellular tough love, and your telomeres will thank you for it. Enter telomerase, the enzyme that turns back the clock. If telomeres are the candles on your lifespan cake, telomerase is the breath that blows them back up. Blackburn and Epel describe telomerase like some ancient alchemist's potion, magical, rare, and dangerously powerful. This enzyme rebuilds frayed telomeres, buying your cells more time. But there's a twist straight out of a Marvel script. Too much telomerase, and you risk unhinged cell division. Translation: the goal isn't endless telomerase, but just enough to patch up your cellular wear and tear. Exercise, diet, and good sleep. All natural telomerase boosters. Forget immortality serums. Your lifestyle is the only safe syringe for this biological miracle worker. Let me drop a truth bomb that's so old school it's almost cliche. Exercise is the closest thing you've got to a biological fountain of youth. Blackburn and Epel aren't peddling gym memberships, but the science is non-negotiable. Move your body and your telomeres celebrate. Jogging, walking, high-intensity interval training, it doesn't matter as long as you're sweating. Even moderate exercise a few times a week acts like a telomere repair kit, slowing the aging process at the cellular level. But if you're envisioning marathons and grueling boot camps, dial it down. A brisk 45-minute walk 3 times a week works wonders. Still, the more you do, the more your telomeres thrive. Treat every bead of sweat like an investment in your personal longevity stock market. Food. Your telomeres are practically begging you to stop treating it like an afterthought. Blackburn and Epel slice through the noise with the simplest of truths. What you eat dictates how long your cells hold up. Forget calorie counting, focus on metabolic health. Telomeres love the classics: fruits, veggies, whole grains, and fish. Think Mediterranean diet, heavy on the leafy greens and light on the sugar. And no, swapping soda for fruit juice isn't the hack you think it is. Sugar, refined or sneaky, wreaks havoc on telomeres, turning them brittle faster than you can say, "Diet starts Monday." Clean eating isn't just aesthetic, it's biological armor. Swap the junk for vibrancy, and your cells will toast you for it. If sleep was a drug, it'd have a wait list longer than a Taylor Swift concert. Blackburn and Epel don't just suggest good sleep, they practically scream it from the rooftops. Chronic sleep deprivation? Say goodbye to your telomeres. It's not just about duration, it's quality. Interrupted sleep is like leaving your phone at 20 cent. You'll survive, but at what cost? Your telomeres need deep, uninterrupted rest to rebuild. 7 hours of solid sleep each night acts like a cellular spa day, lengthening the lifespan of your chromosomes. Can't sleep? Fix your environment, darken the room, silence the notifications, and for the love of DNA, stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m. Your environment isn't just a backdrop, it's part of the biological stage show. Blackburn and Epel point out that air quality, toxins, and even the plastics you use have their claws in your telomeres. Car exhaust, pollution, and the BPA in plastic bottles chip away at those precious caps like relentless little gremlins. Want to stop it? Fill your space with plants, switch to glass or stainless steel, and cut the toxins where you can. It's not about perfection, it's about stacking the odds in your favor. Clean air and green spaces aren't just good vibes, they're cellular guardians. If your surroundings look like a sterile sci-fi lab, it's time to let nature back in. Now let's crack into the final boss of telomere health, your mindset. Blackburn and Epel hammer home the reality that optimism isn't just feel-good fluff, it's genetic life insurance. The way you think shapes your biological destiny. Resilient, hopeful people tend to live longer, and it's not because of luck. Optimists face challenges like athletes in training. Every setback is a rep, building stronger telomeres in the process. But don't get it twisted. Optimism isn't about ignoring reality. It's about acknowledging the storm without letting it sink your ship. Adopting a mindset of growth, positivity, and acceptance doesn't just make life easier, it extends the runway on your cellular clock. Radical acceptance of life's uncertainties keeps your DNA humming along for the long haul. There you have it, the Telomere Effect, laid bare and soaked in gonzo flair. You're armed with the secrets of your biological timekeepers, and the power to shape your longevity sits right between your ears and at the end of your fork. So, what are you going to do with it? Keep burning out your telomeres with stress and cynicism, or step up and give your cells the love they deserve? Either way, your DNA is listening. Like, subscribe, and stay curious, because your body's clock is still ticking, and the next click might just change your lifespan. Catch you on the next one.